Hello, this is the Vietnam Social News Update for October 23, 2025. Date of news coverage: October 23, 2025. Politics. In the capital of Hanoi this week, the National Assembly of Vietnam, NA, has turned its attention to a major catalog of personnel and institutional decisions set to unfold before the year's end. The Assembly session, which will run until December 11th, has been preparing to vote on key state leadership positions, including appointments at the cabinet and state agency levels. The deputy head of the Delegation Work Committee announced that the nominating and voting process will aim to be transparent, signaling an effort to boost public trust in governance. This recalibration of officials comes at a moment of heightened institutional reform. Within the broader context of the forthcoming Party Congress, the personnel shuffle is widely seen as part of a campaign to refresh the leadership and accelerate modernization of government institutions. At the same time, the NA is set to review more than 49 draft laws and several significant resolutions, underscoring how legislative reform and administrative renewal are intertwined with personnel changes. Yet the political landscape remains anchored in continuity even as it seeks change. While the driving narrative emphasizes efficiency, digital governance, and deeper oversight, the overarching role of the ruling Communist Party of Vietnam, CPV, remains steady. The challenge is to signal modernization without breaking the system's core coherence. For citizens and observers alike, the key question is whether the upcoming reforms will meaningfully improve responsiveness and public service, or primarily serve symbolic change. Economy. Now, let's move to the economy. The Vietnamese economy posted a strong performance in the third quarter, with gross domestic product expanding about 8.22% year-on-year, despite headwinds from new U.S. tariffs on key exports such as footwear and textiles. This rate marks one of the fastest quarterly growth spurs in recent years, reinforcing the government's confidence in its ability to steer the economy through external shocks. Foreign direct investment and outbound tourism played a significant role in fueling that momentum. Looking ahead, the government has raised its ambition. The Prime Minister announced a target of at least 10% GDP growth for 2026, and the party's planning document for 2026 to 2030 even sets that same threshold as an annual baseline. This ambition is underpinned by policies to shift the growth model, from low-cost manufacturing and exporting toward higher value-added sectors such as technology, green energy, and services. But the plan comes with caveats. Vietnam still faces reliance on cheap labor, technological gaps, climate risks, and a volatile real estate and gold markets. Financial markets are also reacting positively. In early October, the country's equities soared after the decision by FTSE Russell to flag Vietnam's stock market for upgrade from frontier to emerging status. That development has the potential to attract billions of dollars in foreign investment, signaling stronger global integration. The key now is whether this influx and reform agenda translate into durable structural change rather than transient growth. Society and culture. Next, in society and culture, Vietnam's social dynamics continue to evolve rapidly, with urbanization, mobility, and cultural identity all in flux. On transport and environmental fronts, plans to restrict petrol-powered motorbikes in major urban zones signal the government's push for cleaner, greener cities. But as households and businesses adjust, questions emerge. How will those changes affect jobs, livelihoods, and daily mobility, especially in smaller cities and rural urban fringe zones? The shift isn't just technical. It touches identity, access, and inclusivity. In the cultural realm, Vietnam is increasingly confident on the world stage. Young creators, digital platforms, and global networks are combining to reshape what Vietnamese cultural expression looks like, from fashion and design to film and music. Simultaneously, there is a growing emphasis on ensuring that cultural progress is inclusive, that rural communities and older generations are not left behind in a rapid cultural shift. The interplay between tradition and innovation is now central to how Vietnamese society views itself. All of this unfolds amid broader demographic and resilience questions. Vietnam's population is aging, climate risks loom large, and rural-urban inequalities persist. The social contract is shifting. Citizens expect more than growth. They expect participation, quality services, and dignity in modernization. The real test will be how well these social and cultural shifts are managed in places beyond Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, and how they shape everyday life for all Vietnamese. International relations. In the sphere of international relations, Vietnam is cultivating a more assertive and diversified posture. Relations with neighboring China are deepening on trade, infrastructure, and border cooperation, even as public sentiment navigates a more complex history. According to recent reports, younger Vietnamese are showing greater openness toward China, marking a subtle shift in strategic calculation. At the same time, Hanoi remains committed to expanding ties with the United States, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America to reduce dependency on any single partner. This diversification strategy extends into economic diplomacy, and it is paying off. Vietnam is in negotiations to sign new free trade agreements and is investing in satellite internet projects and high-speed railway planning, designed to enhance connectivity and global engagement. The global shift in manufacturing and supply chains gives Vietnam a chance to position itself as a middle-income hub of innovation and trade. Yet the foreign policy terrain is not without risk. Scaling global engagement means balancing sovereignty, national interest, and external expectations all at once. Rising trade frictions, technological export controls, and climate diplomacy complexity mean Vietnam will need to navigate carefully. The success of its international strategy will hinge less on simply signing deals and more on how effectively Vietnam extracts benefit from better jobs, stronger firms, and deeper resilience. Thank you for listening to the Vietnam Social News Update. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And see you again tomorrow. This news summary is based on publicly available reports and rewritten uniquely for Vietnam Social News. VietnamNews.com is the official web address of Vietnam Social News. We are an independent platform, not affiliated with Vietnam News Agency or any government-owned media outlet.